Hey students, how are you? Hope you had a good weekend. You should have turned in your exercise 2 assignment with the new animal. You could hand it in Blackboard. There's a link to the assignment and to upload it, or you can email it to me. I hope you are doing well with the assignments and the class. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm going to set up office hours tomorrow afternoon if you need any help. But today I'd like to go through um, basically our next assignment, which is our project one assignment, a mask. If you go onto the website under assignments, you should see project one, or you can go to Blackboard under course content and you could read the assignment. Basically, you're going to make a composite using our masking selection techniques that you've learned so far to create a mask. And you're going to use a minimum of 10 images, all placed onto this mask or around this mask. And then you're going to add a background. So you're going to basically mask out the mask so that you can have the background. Um, there's a website where you can get high resolution images. It's unsplash.com. The mask template you could download here. There's a download link or on Blackboard under the project assignment. And you just open up that file. It is 8.5 by 11 at 300 DPI or PPI. And then you're going to create your mask images, and then you're going to mask out the layer for the mask. And I'll show you how to do that. And then add a background. So let me just go through some of these masks. So throughout antiquity, masks were used for ceremonial purposes, for amusement, performance, as protection. Um, a lot of times during performances, ceremonial, cultural things, the performer would take on the persona of the mask and take on the personality of the mask um, that they're wearing. Um, a lot of it has to do with spirituality, and ancestors and spirits throughout history. So masks are a very familiar thing culturally around the world. So when you get a chance, I'd love for you to go ahead and Google masks and look at some of the masks to get inspired as to what you'd like to do. Ultimately, I'd like you to have some kind of theme. So I'm going to share some of the student work. So this is a mask, and notice it has a sea theme to it. Um, and this was created in Photoshop using different images. This is another mask that my student did. You know we're dealing with the coronavirus, so this was very appropriate to the times. Um, Here's another mask. This was well done, that a student did. Another mask. And then this is another mask that someone did. So you have an idea as to what the mask looked like. If you noticed in this file down below, all the layers are named, and I want you to do that. So this layer says bloody hand, dragon, katana, mouth fire, helmet, and you can see the helmet in that layer. So I want you to name your layers. I'm going to check to make sure you name your layers. Being organized in Photoshop is really important. So yeah, so this layer here, I'm going to show you real quick the mask layer. So that layer that layer is the masked layer that you're going to use to mask out the mask. So I have it here. So when you open up your document, you should have an 8.5 by 11 with this masked layer, and there's a transparent layer below it. So how would you begin? Well, let's. I have a couple images already in here, so let me release that mask. So I have this image here, and I have a background image. I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to go to unsplash.com. And I'm going to look for leaves. So I'm going to download that layer. Oops. Okay. So I just downloaded that file, and it's in my downloads folder. And what I'm going to do is, out of my downloads folder, I'm putting it on my desktop. And then I'm going to drag that layer in. So I have that layer there, but right now I need to rasterize the layer. So I'm going to right click on the layer and rasterize it so I can work with it. So if you had problems rasterizing, you click on the layer you want to rasterize and hit rasterize layer. So with this layer, I'm just going to do a few things. I'm selecting I'm going to copy and paste that into, and then I'm going to copy, copy, and paste. Okay. So now I have these things here, and all I did was copy and paste those objects. And then what I'm going to do is I'm selecting all 4 layers by holding Shift. And I'm going to go to this icon here and I merge layers. See, I merged it into this one layer. And then what I'm going to do is, let me move that up here. I'm going to merge these 2 layers together. Merge those 2 layers together. Now I have this object with the merge layers, and what I'm going to do is, if I right click here on the layer 1, I'm going to create clipping mask. There you go. I've created a clipping mask of that layer above it. So let me show you again what I did here. I'm going to release clipping mask. So I combine these layers together into one layer. So you have to combine them into one. And then right click where it says layer 1 down at the bottom here. I create clipping mask. And there, I've created a clipping mask of that layer. So I've got that. Let's bring in, I'm going to bring in a rose. And what I'm going to do is select, quick selection. So I just have a quick selection on the rose. So I gotta kind of clean up this edge here. And then I want to get rid of the stem. So I'm painting in the selection here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my selection, and then I'm just going to delete, oh, I have to rasterize the layer first. So I'm going to go to the layer, rasterize the layer. So I rasterize the layer, and then I'm going to delete it. So now I have this rose, and if I press Command T, this comes up, and I can shrink. I can, if I want, I can rotate around the edges. I'm going to shrink it some more. Now I could copy this layer by dragging this layer down to the plus sign, and now I've got another rose. And then I'm going to hit Command T and rotate that. Now there's another way to copy. Also, if you want to select the first rose, you press Control, and then it'll show you that rose. So if I want to copy this rose, if I hit Option and drag, it allows me to copy that rose. So I'm gonna select this one, shrink it down, and then turn it some more. I'm gonna Control and click that one, shrink it down, rotate it. Okay, so now I've got that. So I also want to I'm going to drag a blue rose in there. So I've got this blue rose. First thing you should do is just right click and rasterize layer when you import a layer. So this background's really easy. I'm just going to select the white background and delete it. shrink it down. Oops. For some reason, it's not moving. Okay, there we go. It's not scaling. Okay, my rose is not scaling. For some reason, the rose is not scaling down. I don't know what's going on. Something's wrong with that file. So I'm going to go ahead and look for another rose. Oh, that's not working. So this isn't all going great. Sorry guys. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay. So now I have my rose. And this one is scaling down. So there we go. So then simply you can add a background. I have a background here. Maybe that one's not so good. Let me go to Unsplash and look up backgrounds. Okay. So I'm just gonna drag, drag it down. Okay. So I've got my image and my background. I might want to play with the background color. So there's my mask. I can work on it some more, but um, there's my mask with my theme, and there's a lot more I could do with it, but you get the idea. So important thing, layer masks. So I'm going to take out the layer release comp. So pick the layer above the mask template, right click, create clipping mask. Remember in the import images, like this layer, remember to rasterize layer. So right click on the layer, rasterize layer. What you want to do is make sure you name your layers. So I'm going to make that blue rose, blue rose. I don't think there's anything on that layer. I can delete that layer. Red, rose, red, rose, red, rose. Texture, mask template, and then this layer is the background layer. So all my layers are named. Get rid of this layer here. And there we go. So not bad. There's a lot we can do with it. Again, add more images because we only added a few. But that's a start. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye.